Hi everyone, my name is Winnie Wong and I teach chemistry here at SMC. I've created this bite-sized video for the Professional Development Committee's Touchpoints series. These are short videos that highlight pedagogical practices that can be implemented in your online or on-ground classes easily and today. So I'm going to walk you through a process that I use to build community through music. I use it in my own online and or on-ground classes. And I'm going to walk you through it as well as how this connects to the SMC instructional framework. So if you've landed on the SMC homepage, you've seen this picture and this motto, you belong. But what does it mean to belong at SMC? And as an instructor, you create that classroom environment that carries through to learning and also the student-student relationships. There are goals that we have as instructors that we want our students to enjoy their time. We want them to learn things. We also want to learn from the students. And all of this needs to fit in at the same time of teaching the material and whatever you teach. Because what's embedded in the college experience and not necessarily related by the student-to-student experience is that we also have student retention that we think about. We want our students to stay in the class for the whole semester and to make it through SMC with their AA or transfer. We also want authentic participation. We want students to be present and talk and contribute and learn, which also contributes to their own learning of the coursework. And we also want the fun and equitable experience. So all of that is the diversity and the uniqueness of all the students that come together and learn, and we can do all of this with this idea of setting up a shared music playlist. So ideally, at the beginning of the semester, you might do some type of icebreaker, whether it's just for the first class, the first meeting, the first online section. It needs to be welcoming and ideally highlighting the unique qualities of each student. This also should transfer so that the students have relationships with each other and get to know each other. And at the same time, you want to get to know the students and continue to know them throughout the semester. So that's a tall order for one icebreaker. But here's how this playlist can do this job. So if you use Spotify already, you know that you can set up your own playlist and curate the songs you want in that. Like, let's say you want something for summer 2026 and you add in all of the latest music. And it's a little bit like a mixtape for those of you my age. You just put all the songs you want on there. So now that we're in 2026, Spotify has a collaborative playlist where it's not just one person creating the songs, but many. It really is great for just about any group. If you're going on a road trip with some friends, create the playlist and everyone can add to it. Or if you have an event coming up. But it's really good for a semester-long course where students can all add their own songs to the list and you can use it throughout the semester. So it's an intentional engagement. You get to know the students in a casual and non-threatening way when they propose a few songs and why. And it can be simple, like I like the song because I heard it last week, or I like the song because it reminds me of my hometown. I'll also show you how you can add these details in the notes section of Gradebook and Canvas, which can apply to your online or on-ground courses as long as you use Canvas. What I've noticed, because I use this in my labs and also sometimes during class on ground, either before class or after class if it ends early, or if there's some wait time before class starts, I put on the shared playlist and I've had students say, oh, that's my song, and then they talk with the students around them. I've also encouraged and seen students use the playlist outside of class. They listen to it on their own. You can use this in Zoom if you're online. I have linked my collaborative playlist to be a graded discussion assignment in Canvas. You might be familiar with the meet and greet initial icebreaker from Online Teaching and Design for instructors. This is an assignment with a due date and time. It can be threaded where there's an initial post by a student, and then students are required to go through and read all students' posts and reply. When you set up the discussion in Canvas, you have the title, but most importantly, the content. You can use their own Spotify account or link to the free version of Spotify. So add a link, direct link to the collaborative playlist that you're going to set up. I'll show you that in the next slide. There's instructions on how to navigate to the song that they want to add, but also most importantly that they're going to need to come back to this discussion in Canvas and post the songs they added and why. Now let's set up that playlist. I use the Spotify desktop app, so these are screenshots from that. And when you click on this button, it will automatically set up a new playlist that you then want to generate a title. I usually choose the semester and name of the course, and then go ahead and make this public because the default setting is private. Then you want to use the icon that is going to invite collaborators, and that automatically creates a link and copies it to your clipboard. And that link is this direct link where any student can add songs. I usually like to start by adding 1 or 3 songs myself. And the playlist has no songs. It looks pretty blank. So choose the plus add button and then find a song you want to add. I usually choose something specific to the class or the season. The first song will automatically populate an image, a graphic from that song. And you're ready to go. Using this collaborative playlist as an assignment in Canvas will align your course to standards set up by the California Community Colleges. In the course design rubric, this is allowing for student-to-student interactions and also continuous and continuing interaction amongst the students to create the community that you want to build in your classroom. And this assignment applies to the student-to-instructor relationship that is delineated by the SMC instructional framework, building an inclusive, student-centered learning environment and positive classroom climate. And if you glean any information from the playlist songs the students have added, let's say they said they love hip-hop or they're from Toledo. If you'd like to add information about any student to the notes section in Gradebook, you want to start in Canvas Gradebook and click on the settings icon. And usually it'll have this unpublished assignments checked off, at least for me. And you want to add this check mark for notes. This adds a column next to each student name that you can type in anything about any individual student, and the student can't see any of those notes. I hope you find use for the playlist, whether in your class or in your own lives, and that you can implement this today. Thank you.